one called Why I Wear a Suit. And I was basically talking about racism. And I said, you know, dressed like I am today, I talked about how I'd gotten stopped like three times by the police. And when they come up to the car, one time they just said, never mind, and just walked away.
Mm,
And I
mm,
said, that's a much better outcome than what some of my colleagues get. And and I talked about if I am in a suit and I'm in a department store, nobody thinks I'm going to shoplift. Or if I am in a suit and I need to use a restroom, nobody says, I'm sorry, so the restroom's just for customers. And if I have a
mm.
complaint and it's customer service and I'm dressed like this, they're more likely to take me seriously than think that I'm trying to pull something on somebody. So anyway, so I just write about all the different kinds of experiences and stuff that I have, and I've built a little following as a result of that.
Oh, that's great. That's interesting what you say about the wearing of the suit. That it comes with a level of respect. It seems like you get certain type of respect that you may not get if you're in a sweatsuit or
That is correct. That is
uh,
correct.
it's I still don't understand. I don't know what's going on with my screen here. Um, Pastor, there's a line through my screen. It says this meeting is being live streamed. Can you remove that? Um,
We can't
if
see that at all.
you can't see it,
No, we can't see it.
oh, why am I seeing that?
I don't know.
Hmm. All right. Well, can you see me?
I can see you. Yes.
Okay. I guess it's okay then. I guess it's something. But yeah, it's interesting. It because our young people a lot, even our grown men, they walk, they seem to think that saggy pants look is something pleasing, but it's very, I find it very disrespectful, and it seems like sometimes if you say something to these men, they get an attitude. I don't understand that that style at all. It's I don't understand that. Do you know why they do that? Do you know what's that's all about?
I obviously I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know what's behind that. I'm just simply saying that, and people argue, they say, well, it really shouldn't matter what clothes you wear. You should be treated the same no matter what. And I'm saying that
Mhm.
theoretically that's true, but that's not reality.
Right, right, exactly. Unfortunately, but still, I just I mean, it just looks so disrespectful. When you see these men, young and old, walking around with their pants hanging down. But I also noticed that you been writing some articles about what's going on at Franklin Park, the White Stadium.
We have
What started you to write about that? What got you on that?
Well, I've been following that project like pre-beginning. I actually met with the team owners before they had decided to even go forward with the stadium and the team and all of that. Um, so I had I had the benefit of meeting them, talking to them, and I wrote after my first meeting with him, I wrote a paper, a letter, basically trying to document what I said. Um, I think because you've been in enough of those community meetings, I um, I'm always hesitant leaving after talking to somebody because I don't know what it is that they're going to say I said later on. So I then wrote a letter to basically say this is what I said. So I had it documented,
Mm-hmm.
and I basically said that I didn't feel that they were anywhere close to where they should be on community benefits. And I said if I gave you a grade, I would give you a D minus. And
Mm.
one of the women in that group later on told me uh, that she thought she used a stronger word than this, but she thought I was being a jerk because I was so critical of them not offering what I thought was like enough community benefits for what they were going to get. And I think that I've proven to be right about that because they're only committing to giving a $500,000 a year in their foundation, and they're only paying the city a $500,000 a year for the use of the stadium. And so I think for the benefits that they're getting, the community isn't getting a commensurate return on that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And it's just it's really sad that the community just didn't does not have more of an input in some of the things that's going on in our city. But I think the Franklin Park situation, I just really think it's really bad. It's really bad, and but
Well, let
obviously
me
the
just tell you what
power.
I wrote, some of the things. So I wrote a number of articles. I wrote one that said they should have had they should have and still should do a traffic study because if you're talking about having 10,000 people coming 20 times a year, what's that do to traffic? So there should be a traffic study. I wrote that there should be a parking study because these people all got to park someplace. And, right now they're limiting some of the parking in places like Eggleston Square, etc. And people won't even be able to, you can't even invite a guest to your own home in those sections without getting permission from somebody to get a parking pass. So I said they need to do a parking study. I said they need to do an environmental study. I said they need to do an economic impact study, a sociology study to understand the social impact in terms of the potential gentrification issues. I wrote one on are the students or the kids actually going to get to use the field? The experts have said that they aren't, so I figured that should be clarified. Um, and I wrote a piece of legislation that was about to be introduced by Councilor Ed Flynn, and then Councilor Culpepper said you can't do that because it's my district. But I basically argued that there should be oversight for that. And I said the neighborhood groups like Garrison Trotter with like Louis Elisa, who's down in that area, the neighborhood groups, the environmental groups, whatever, should be part of a board that provides oversight as to the decisions that are made. Because right now, all the decisions are basically made by the mayor and the mayor's office. And so in my opinion, there's a problem of accountability, and that's not how other cities did it. So when I wrote the legislation, I showed a number of other cities and that they had created an oversight board as a way to, vet the decisions that were being made. I wrote another article about the lack of minority procurement, and I based that also on the fact that it could, to spend that much public money, whether you say the public from the private side or the public side in a black neighborhood, and basically make such a small to no effort to get minority vendors, minority participation, minority workers. I called it a failure, and so I wrote an article on that as well.
Wow. And have you gotten backlash or a lot of
No,
response?
I mean not officially. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not saying anything that's not true.
Right.
Um, so for example, I said, again, I'm saying stuff that I'm not talking to you. You should be talking about this. I said Boston has a long history of not hiring basically black contractors or black workers, laborers. And I
Mhm.
use the example of the Big Dig. I use the example of how much um, procurement the city of Boston was doing. I tried to contrast that with four different projects, the Grove Hall Mecca, the Omni Hotel, the Kroc Center, and the stadium out in or the convention center. I said there's four examples where we did it right, and all those took contracts and meetings and protesting and everything else. So if it isn't for people like yourself and Chuck Turner and Bruce Bowling and all that fighting for this stuff, it doesn't happen. And I said that's the lesson. So if you really want to get the numbers up, this is what you got to do. We know what we need to do. It's just we're choosing not to do it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, well. I kind of like stepped back from all that protesting and all that because it's wearing on me a little bit. I'm so it's really frustrating to see what's going on. With some of the things like the decision about Madison Park High School. I mean, I really don't. That's one of the reasons why I really wish because from what I understand, the stadium is owned by Boston Public Schools,
That
correct?
is correct.
And I feel like if we had an elected school committee, this would not be happening like it is,
Well, I wrote about that too. I wrote, I did because I talked about the fact that there wasn't any voice, there wasn't any other voices.
Yeah,
So in other words, so I basically talked about how I thought, talking about the stadium, I said if it was such a bad idea, then where were all the parents and coaches and stuff like that, and out protesting. But then I didn't realize that the school committee members are all appointed by the mayor. And so if the superintendent is appointed, obviously hired by the board, then all the teachers and coaches and everything else, they're not really going to speak up because of their job and this and that. And so you don't really have another voice that represents the school or the parents, etc., because in some way or another they're connected to the mayor.
yeah. It's unfortunate. It really is. So, what does that say? Really, what does that say um for Boston? What does that say for Boston Public Schools? Um,
Well, I
you
was just going
know,
to say in that article that I wrote, I point out that more people voted for the non-binding referendum on the elected school committee than voted for the mayor. That's one. And two, it was a referendum that won in every precinct in the city. So it wasn't about, urban, suburban, white, black, whatever. Every precinct supported that. And so, to have the mayor sort of say, I don't think so. That
yeah.
anyway.
It's it's unfortunate that that happened, and now we have her. She's back again, doing other things that people aren't unhappy with, but she's still doing it. So what do you do? You can protest, you can write articles, you can, but nothing changes, unfortunately, Um, so when you look at overall everything that's going on, and we say, I don't know, well, even if the mayor he didn't have an opponent, she still would still be in there because she didn't have no one really run against her. Kraft was in there for a second, and then he backed out. So, but what do you think? So in the next couple of years, what do you think Boston's going to look like? There's so many people that have left Boston. There's so many people that are leaving Boston. Um, and so is Boston going to really? I know Diane Wilkerson used to always used to say in like 10 years, they're going to be saying, remember when black people lived in Boston? Just because where you going to go? People are just, it's just sad. I I was born and raised here, and so, but it's disheartening to see all the things that are going on in this city. Um, We have an election coming up, we this year, another election year, cities, and not cities, state legislators, state senators, the governor. We have all those, but it just seems like I don't know, people just aren't interested, don't feel like they have any say. I really don't know what's going on, what's happening, but it's sad and it's discouraging, And I mean, I would encourage you to keep on writing, but it's it's really a sad time. in the city, not only the city, the state, this country, the world, we're clearly like in the end days as far as I can see, because I don't, from the White House on down, we just, people, it seems like they don't care about people. It's all about money, the almighty dollar and power. And so that's my take on it. I don't know. So, unfortunately, we have what we have. And we have a city council that most of them are you going to sleep on me? Most of them are for, they vote the way the mayor wants them to vote. And so what do we do? We have to I feel like if we could get some more people, some more city councilors involved or in elected that really are for the people, that may help. But other than that, I don't know, you know, what to do or say. So yeah, that's it. Oh, do you have any suggestions what could be done? Is it, that could change what's going on?
Well, that's a very broad question. I think I'd have to have something more specific so I could, and then I'd have to go research it. I wouldn't necessarily have an idea off the top of my head.
Yeah, 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 I know. But I think about all our heroes that have gone, Mel King and Chuck, Makia, Bruce Boland, the Senator, Owens, but I don't know. It just seems like we got a lot more done when they were around than now. It just seems like people are just almost giving up. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm saddened by what I see, but what can you do? What can we do? So, I know you said that you had to leave. So I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a very busy gentleman. And we didn't even talk about your day job, right? Which is the greater, which is you're the ED of the greater Grove Hall Main Streets. And how is that going? I notice you. I see you walking around a lot sometimes, up and down Blue Ave.
That's
So
true.
um, I know there's supposed to be a project coming along. I don't know how it's going with
Which project
Donald
is that?
Alexis. That's the one with Donald Alexis. He's supposed to be putting senior housing up there on Blue Ave, right
Oh,
next to Bree.
on Cheney Street.
Not change. Well, no, that huge project. I know that's from the JP.
Right, JBNDC.
Yeah, but there's another one that's supposed to be coming up further along next to Breeze's laundromat. From what
I don't think there's any. Well, I'm not aware of a project going up over there. There's another one that will be going up. I think 639 Warren Street will be another one. Then of course there's the community center um, across the street from the library. That's in
hmm
process. So there's some developments that's happening right now.
hmm So yeah, I don't know, maybe it didn't go through. Um Donald Alexis was supposed to be he's the one that did Cummins Highway, 820 Cummins, he did Morton Street. From what I understand, he was trying to build senior housing right there on Blue Hill and Gaston Street, but I don't know, maybe it didn't go through, or I don't know, but he was supposed to be trying to build some senior housing
Okay,
over there. But if you don't know about it, maybe it's not happening.
that's not necessarily true.
Yeah, but Yeah, so I want to thank you for coming on, taking the time. And, all I can do is just say, keep doing, doing what you're doing, keep writing, and, hopefully one day it'll all come together. But
All right.
right now,
Well,
yeah.
thank you very much. And I look forward to coming back and maybe I'll talk about the Black Women Lead Project. We're trying to do the second phase of that right now. And there's one also on Black founded STEM-based companies. So those are probably two exciting projects. And anyway, see you next time. But thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye. So, Pastor, I, I, he was only
It's
on
me,
for,
Sister Priscilla.
who's this?
Renee.
I'm sorry now. I see Pastor's face up there, so I just assumed that he's on there. Who is Randy's note taker?
I don't know. AI maybe?
I don't know.
I don't know.
And then Marcus Anthony Hall, that must be my
It
auto.
says, yeah, that's your auto AI.
Yeah.
So Randy's our auto AI, I guess.
I don't know if that's Minister Randy. That's the only Randy I know. Yeah, I had invited Sharon Hinton to come on, but maybe she didn't get it. But Ed did tell me he was only going to be on here for a half an hour. So I don't know if we would you want to do if you want to cut the you just said this has been a half an hour broadcast.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but thank you,
You're welcome.
appreciate it. I don't know what you do in this case. Do you bring it?
I can end it. I can end it.
Okay. So this
Okay.
has been the short version of People Power with Priscilla, and I thank everybody that came in, that's listening. Hopefully and prayerfully, I'll be back in the studio soon, within a week or two. But right now, I'm just still trying to take it easy and still try to get my health back together. Because my health is important to me, and if I don't have my health, I really can't do a whole lot, not for myself or for the community or for anybody else. So I ask you all that are praying people to continue to pray for me, continue to pray that I will get better. And that being said, thank you, everybody. God bless. And stay in the fight. Fortunately, you're in it for a minute. So, Renee, thank you. I appreciate
You're
you.
welcome.
You have a good day.
You too.
And I'm going to leave.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.